With me is Rod Johnson, who's the co-founder and chief marketing officer for BLK Bold Coffee.
I needed a summer job. I didn't want to go home between my sophomore and junior year, and I saw a flyer around the campus of Indiana University, which is where I completed my undergrad, that said, "Hey, come make $9 an hour talking to your fellow alumni." And I was like, I like talking. I don't want to go back home. Let me go ahead and see what this job's about. And ultimately, it was working in a call center, interrupting people's dinners, asking them to give back to their alma mater for the sake of scholarship, technology upgrades, et cetera, et cetera. And I just built a career off of that, finding ways to connect to people around these shared values, around this shared experience, and getting them or reintroducing them to the magic that existed when they were going through their undergraduate studies, and just progressed up that ladder. Immediately prior to starting the business, the last role that I held was the assistant dean for the School of Business for a small private liberal arts college out west. And while fun, really enjoyed the many conversations and being able to tell the story of those respective institutions. I didn't really feel connected to the end result. I felt that there was a much bigger issue that needed to be addressed. And I wanted to use the skills that I had developed over the last 15 years to address those issues. We were already exploring the idea of entrepreneurism. It just was a matter in what direction. It dawned on us that we should just look at our own daily habits. Let's look at things that we are doing already. What are things that we like? They say the same thing like with picking stocks, right? They say, hey, what stock should you buy? Well, look in your pocket. You have an Apple Watch. All right. Well, you're driving this type of car. Those are probably the stocks that you should invest in. And that was a similar approach that we took with starting our business. So we realized that we were spending a lot of time in coffee shops. Now, while I wasn't a coffee drinker, still spent a fair amount of time in coffee shops, given the travel required of my work, and just kind of fell in love with the coffee shop culture and the community that's built around coffee, and decided that, all right, let's take this affinity and see what it would be like to actually be the manufacturers of this product as opposed to just the consumers. I've been told that I have the superpower of like connectivity and building rapport and just being congenial with people, regardless of the crowd. I tend to, I can find my place in that crowd, right? And while still being authentic to myself. And I think that being able to prioritize other people's interests and finding a way to relate them to my own has really resulted in some great relationships that I've been able to build over time. And that's really what life is all about, is building and maintaining and sustaining relationships. And that has come very natural to me. One, it's carving out a voice in a very crowded space. I mean, coffee is a commodity, right? So it's you can get it any and everywhere, right? And then also a challenge has been, I'd say carving out the voice. The challenge has been to make sure that we partner with people for the right reasons, and make sure that there's authenticity on the other side of those negotiations, that people are not looking to just piggyback on whatever momentum that we have built without any genuine interest in furthering our cause. And so they're just kind of sifting through that noise to make sure that our marketing efforts, including and especially when we partner with other people, are that they're mutually shared as far as authenticity is concerned. There are many reasons why people rock with our brand. It could be one, that they just love coffee, right? Yeah. The product that we sell draws the
good coffee. Yeah.
Good coffee, right? It could be that it's a Black-owned business and people get to shop their affinities. And that's something that is of importance to them. And speaking of affinities, it's the fact that we give back, and we're very bullish about how important that is to us. So we knew that from the very beginning that we wanted to have some notion of social impact embedded at the core of what we did, because that's what was lacking in our professional careers and in communities that from which we come. There is a lack of reciprocity between for-profit businesses and the communities of their consumers. So we position our business to be an example of prioritizing purpose as well as profit. And we essentially bring that to life by giving a portion of our proceeds to organizations that support youth in need. In fact, annually, we give 5% of our profits to about 15 organizations that are scattered across America that focus on different aspects of the human endeavor for kids. Mm-hmm. So it could be eradicating food insecurities or youth homelessness. It could be just providing general mentorship for the public school system or the kids of the public school system, or teaching kids the importance of coding, or just giving them hardware like computers. Mm-hmm. These organizations are keenly focused on helping our most vulnerable demographic, which are kids. You may or may not know that we are official licensees of the NBA. And last year, we announced that partnership with the release of a medium roast coffee entitled The Warm Up. It had 2 packaging experiences to commemorate the Eastern and the Western conferences. You had the different teams, and the packaging, in my opinion, was top notch. And we were, I think, overly dependent upon the NBA being a household name, that we didn't have the proper rollout plan for it, and that we didn't have the proper support to really make that thing sing. That was a reminder to not rest on our laurels, so to speak, and make sure that we put forth our due diligence to make these opportunities really hum. Attention to detail was probably one of the biggest values that I have. I mean, you don't have to be the smartest, fastest, strongest, but I care about doing a good job and doing a good job the first time around. And I want to surround myself with people who prioritize that as well. And then just, consistency. That's another value that I try to embody. And I'm hoping that those that work with me and for the brand also take heed to that as well.